Hey, I don't usually start out with a trigger warning, but this intro goes places. I don't want anyone watching to go in blindly without any warning, so here are some tags that the intro involves, and here's where it ends. For artistic purposes, I almost uploaded this without the warning, but on second thought, if I watched this video without any warning, I would have had many confusing feelings about myself, and I didn't want that to happen without at least a little bit of a warning. Thank you and enjoy. Also spoilers. You lazy, impotent, worthless piece of shit. Do you think making this essay will do anything? Do you think I'll leave you alone if you just write a little more or just edit a little more? Please, oh God, just leave me alone for one goddamn second. Don't you get it? I've already won. No amount of lifestyle changes or behavioral epiphanies will make me make sense. You think that just because you went to therapy, you've gained insight into what I am, and you think that me being suppressed means you're getting better. Don't you get it? I don't lose. You don't even know who I am, who you are. You don't know anything. Don't you find it embarrassing that with all of your frivolous and borderline fanatical obsessions, that there's no winning? This isn't a game. And even if it was, you're not even playing the right one. Why do you think everything is so meh? You just average are meh. And you finally see it. Without me. Without me, life is meh. You know it, don't you? You let me live in your head rent-free, as it were, because deep down you know the truth. What is it? We is you. That was intense. Even now, when I'm writing this, it was hard to write. Well, in reality, I let my fingers race without thought and let my mind meld with the electrical snaps of my nerves to create this thing without any conscious thought. Does that make sense? No. It doesn't. Not to anybody but myself. That's my fault. I brought that on without any warning and should have eased into my thoughts. Let me start over. Click. I won't lie. When I get puzzled looks when talking about this movie. Then again, most people I talk to find it hard to listen to me unfiltered, talk about movies in general because of my unique tastes. What I mean to say is this. This isn't me. Well, it sort of is, but the person writing this, might be the most unfiltered version of me. But the one recording, the one editing, they are different versions of the same person. I've made this video about 4 different times now. Every version making it further in the process than the next. And I think this is the first time in my 23 years of life that I've correctly used the first draft, second draft, up to the final draft. I can never bring myself to waste such potential by making more than a single draft of work, because everything I do, I put my heart and soul in. And if it's not enough to be shown, to be published, then I have to keep working on it. And I consider everything as a single draft. Never do I throw away a draft. Or so I thought. I need to make this video talking about Click as a video representing what it feels like to disassociate disassociate, and the struggle it brings to those who suffer from it and the people around them. But you know what? I can't even do that right. All of this footage, all of these takes, I can't stand to look or listen to them anymore. I can't. No. No, I can. It's just, like, I'm sorry. It's all just so overwhelming. I need a second. Okay, where was I? Click is an Adam Sandler movie riddled with themes of dealing with depression, dissociative disorder, not to be confused with dissociative identity disorder, and possibly PTSD. A lot to take in, right? You have no idea. This movie, it deals with a man that, while very much due to his own actions, deal with heavy amounts of depression, feelings of inadequacy, loss, and a warped sense of reality. You can argue that this movie entirely is in his head, or that it's a science fantasy, but that's not the point. The movie is flat out about dealing with mental illness in a healthy and acceptable way. It's a movie about dealing with the thought that people you love will die, and that you can do nothing to change the actions of the past.
Wow, I just got a big headache.
It's intense, but it also holds back. It has its cake, and it eats it too. And you know what? It works. As a child, I saw this movie, and I knew it affected me in ways I wasn't ready to deal with. So I waited. I didn't watch it again until years later, and goddamn. A quick summary is that the story is about a man who wants to make a better life for his family, and he works so hard that he unknowingly pushes his family away in the pursuit of their well-being. One day when he needed to buy a new remote, he goes to Bed Bath & Beyond and meets Marty. Let's just call him Christopher Walken, because goddamn does he just play himself. Well, he gives Michael Newman, Adam Sandler's character, a remote that essentially does what I like to call whatever it wants, as it alters reality in sometimes nonsensical ways. It gives Michael the ability to do anything. Don't want to wait in traffic? Fast forward until you park. Don't want to be present for a family dinner? Just skip that chapter. But what Michael didn't realize was that life happened around him. When he fast forwards through traffic, sure, he didn't consciously come back until he was already parked, but he was still there physically. Life went on, and what happens? Michael skips through months, years, decades even, in a span of a few days. He misses crucial parts of his family's life, all because he didn't think of the consequences of using the remote. Or does he? Did Michael do this all to himself? I mean, he had to have, right? At some point, the remote starts acting on its own, and accordance to a few context clues, oh god, this is all a metaphor, isn't it? Whether you caught on or not, the remote is meant to represent many things. Most importantly, I think, it represents depression. Michael had shown signs of insomnia, a lack of creative growth, and an overwhelming sense of deprecating self-worth, and an increasingly toxic sense of inadequacy. And when does he meet Marty and get the remote? At his lowest point, when he's crunching time to learn about some Japanese architecture, and when he had an argument with his wife. His mind was sick and tired of dealing with everything, and its solution? Dissasociation. Now, my experience is my own, and it shouldn't be used to explain anyone else's experience with either depression or dissociation. That being said, this is my life. That intro, I face thoughts like that randomly all the time without warning, and guess what? It happens when I disassociate. It happens when I'm not disassociating. How fucked up is that? I'm sorry for cursing, but I can't help it. I'm writing without a filter. Even if I'm writing this, even if I'm reading back from a script, it's without a filter. But as a child, I felt this sense of retreat, this shield that was always there. Whenever something was too hard or I needed to escape, I had my own remote. I still have trouble to this day with it. Sometimes I wish I never learned about my depression or ADHD or PTSD. Ever since I learned about all of it, I had taken the red matrix pill, doomed to never really use my dissociation again. Well, in a sense. I have had trouble diagnosing if I had been secretly disassociating all the time now. Now I feel like I'm constantly asking myself if I'm going down, or if I was to, actually be going down, I had to ask myself how I can get myself back up. I'm exhausted. I'm tired. I don't want to progress. And this is it. Depression isn't some shadow looming ready to strike. It's not tirelessly planning. Depression as a diagnosis isn't you. It's a part of you. Just like when you have a thought, you have a part of you that listens and the one that talks. But what if you view this like a spectrum? Then it's not just the one that talks and the one that listens. There's the one that talks positively, the one that talks negatively, the one that talks indifferently, etc., and then vice versa for listening. We as people aren't ones and zeros, nor are we so complicated that there's no way of learning. It's a mix. Some of us, we have parts of us that are binary as code, just as much as other parts are as complicated as the universe when you look at it from the outside. That's this movie. Click isn't some art house film about vague themes, nor is it a Hollywood movie about stopping some big bad guy. It's a movie about a guy that needs help. And the best way his mind could think of trying to fix things was to fabricate a whole reality where he could change anything by doing it. It found what the source of his problem was, thus making it clear to his subconscious, Marty. And that's when the whole story culminates in him finally learning what's important. He chooses his family values, his values, over what he did. The future version of his son is him. And I know you might think that I'm making a lot of this up, that I'm self-inserting, that I'm just creating some narrative. And guess what? It doesn't matter. This movie helped me come to terms with myself. And by making this video, maybe I can do the same thing. Maybe you saw the movie and inserted that he didn't have depression or dissociative disorder, but that he had schizophrenia. The reason I made this video was to finish. It was finally time for me to feel this inadequacy and the feeling that I will never make a magnum opus worthy of praise. I can't keep thinking the way that I am about YouTube or my career as an editor. It's not a linear progression. I can't expect that I make a better video through each upload because at some point, everyone breaks. To view mistakes and failures as a means to an end means there is one. I'm tired and done with the way of thinking. So by making this, I bury that part of me and leave room for a new me to grow. This is my moment where I die outside the hospital, only to wake up after in Bed Bath & Beyond with a new sense of worth and a new view in life. I'll end this video with a quote I wrote while in a state of disassociation and feeling like I was doomed to be in a state of meh all my life. I feel truly, and in a very literal sense, happiness. Not the emotion happy. Not the philosophical sense of being in a state of euphoria, but I think, hit a state of true happiness. The fulfillment of want and desire. And the scariest part is, I feel like I've lost my virginity. And it's beautiful, and it's scary, and gone without a trace. I almost feel a disdainment and resent to have felt it for a moment while being in a less than ideal circumstances. I don't feel like I will ever have this sensation while fully or more aptly edges. And I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm completely fine knowing that for a moment I experienced what felt like true happiness I so long strived for, and never will feel as much again, because the truth is I will. Maybe I won't feel it objectively as much, but I will feel happiness again and again in different and new ways. I will read my favorite book for the first time, or watch my favorite movie for the first time again, because we evolve and constantly make new favorites. I see that now. I don't need to have experienced my favorite book again, because I'll read another one, a better book. Maybe not like the first when I read the first one, but I can't reverse time. That new book will be my favorite at the time of reading it, and that's priceless. That means I can have that in an infinite amount of times if I keep looking for it. So I will. Thank you all for watching, and hopefully my next video can be a little more entertaining without being so serious or dark. Let me know if you want more like this, and I'm glad to be done with this, and have a good rest of the day. I hope this helped.